You shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
It's time to turn the page. If you're not ready, that's cool. We're here for you for that as well. But it's a Turn the Page Tuesday here on the Sports Animal with a whole lot going on. And we'll look forward with Liberal basketball and explain to you why it's not as dark as maybe some of you think, or certainly as you thought as you rolled out of the pit on Saturday. And we got a whole lot going on in the National Football League, even though they won't play another game for another, 8 months, 7 months, what's 2, 3, 7, yeah, about 6 months. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, DC. How you living on a Tuesday?
What it do?
You all right back there?
I am fantastic.
Check this out. All right, so here's what we got for you today. We got phones. 505-246-0610. Like, you can actually call us like we used to do. So you can call us. DC will answer and then put you in the queue, and then we'll put you on the line. You don't have to text, and we'll call you back. So that's kind of like I mean, I hear we're getting running water next week and cable TV, and I mean, maybe even heat in this room one day. Probably not. You got heat.
I'm getting a new cassette player.
It's so nice. I mean, how about the technology on that?
Love it.
So we're getting that. So we got phone lines, 505-246-0610. We got sound, like we can play you some sound, which we will do. You'll hear some of what Russell Wilson had to say. Kenyon Martin just blew up his former Nuggets coach, George Karl. So I don't know, JJ. I mean, it we walked in. It feels like a meat locker in here. The phones are working. Everything's back to normal.
Fantastic.
Yeah. What you watched last night?
Basketball.
What you watch?
Dabble in some of the college hoops that was on. Miami, North Carolina.
Yeah, boy, Miami almost came back on them.
Heat. Kings.
How about the Heat winning in Sacramento? 4 in a row. Here come the Heat. It's getting close to the playoffs.
They got a little riled up from everything that happened with the Pelicans and fights, and suspensions over the weekend.
Yep. Here they come. All right. I did 2 Ted Lassos. I still am not done. I just kind of took a break last night. Can't remember last time I didn't watch sports all night. Honestly.
Have either of you started Dynasty?
No.
The Patriots one that came out this week, I believe. I'm going to do that this weekend.
All right. Is that this weekend's?
I'm hearing good things about it. A lot of people like it.
All right. That's it.
Masters of the Air. It's fantastic.
What's
Started watching that one?
What's that?
The World War II one on Apple TV.
Masters of the Air.
Nice.
Fantastic.
And anybody else? That's what we'll do to take your suggestions. What should you watch? What's my next series? What should you watch? Is there a new Cobra Kai out? Crying out loud. Have you not watched Cobra Kai?
I watched
Come on.
a good portion of the first season, but I have not followed it.
It is so wonderfully cheesy. It's awesome. It's Cobra Kai's beautiful.
Bringing back Daniel was a good idea.
Yeah, no doubt. Audra was like, yeah, whatever. I think she just watched it just to amuse me.
And then she got hooked.
Well, kind of, but she won't tell you she did. She'll tell you she hates it, but because she acts she's SAG. She's a pro, right? I mean, she is an actor or an actress or whatever the proper term is. So and the writing, you kind of could see it all coming, but it's not Ted Lasso, but it is wonderful. It is wonderful. All right. I kind of wanted to start in the NFL and go through some of the free agency stuff and the franchise tag stuff and why I can't get this one piece off my screen. I just, for the life of me, don't know. All right. Yesterday, we told you T. Higgins was tagged, $21 million. That's the Bengals wide receiver. With the increased salary cap, and it went up, $30 million? Guys, teams can kind of keep who they want to keep.
They can. It's an absolute jackpot for players that are going into free agency right now, because they're gonna the good players are going to change the market, and teams are also going to have to then figure out, all right, this is great, but we can't just give these few guys a gigantic raise. They kind of have to figure out how it's going to work overall. But if you're one of these free agents right now, you're like, hey, I'm getting a pay raise, a big pay raise.
Well, how's it going to work for running backs? Are they getting pay raises?
No.
I
can tell you that right now.
Everybody but running backs are going to get pay raises. Is that right? So the franchise tag will not go to Saquon Barkley from the Giants. The Raiders are not going to franchise tag Josh Jacobs, and the Cowboys are not expected to franchise tag Tony Pollard. All expected to be free agents. In fact, the Giants said they'll speak with Barkley, they'll look at a deal, but they're unlikely to tag him. It would be $12.1 million. So what does that mean? That they won't tag him at 12.1, but yet he wants about 16. Gone? As much as he said he wants to be there, I think he's gone.
Yes.
All right. Also on the market, expected to be. Titans probably aren't going to tag Derrick Henry, free agent. Chargers probably will not tag Austin Eckler, free agent. JJ, you put together a list. DeAndre Swift, A.J. Dillon, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Ezekiel Elliott, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We're just playing musical chairs here. Everybody's going to move around and probably end up with the same amount of money. And you're just going to, when you go to your fantasy draft, you're like, what team's this dude on? All right, I'll take it.
Absolutely. I think that's what we will see with running backs. It will be interesting with the boost in the cap, because there's a lot of the teams that are feeling good about themselves going in that are making the moves to get under the cap. But when we get to the point, we get after the draft, later in the summer, does one of these teams take a chance on a 1 to 2 year deal with one of these guys?
And who would it be?
Because I'm looking at any of those top 3 names, and then I'll slide in Derrick Henry. If I could go to Derrick Henry and be like, dude,
2 years.
I'll give you 1 year, $18 million.
What if I gave you 2 at 21? Would you do that? Nothing. If you're the team or you're him?
You're Derrick Henry.
Okay. What do you think he would?
But I think this is 1 year maybe you can get away with doing something like that, with that little boost with some of these guys.
1 at 18?
For like Derrick Henry.
Okay. No, and for
now, the other guys,
I want to give perspective real quick. I want you to finish. So why JJ's talking this way? The salary cap increased 13.6%. It's up to $255.4 million a team. So there's $30.6 million per team more to spend on salary. And I just want to give it perspective. So go ahead.
Because these guys are still going to be after they figure out everyone else. Because when you look at the teams that need to figure things out, it's the Chiefs talking about Chris Jones, L'Jarius Sneed, the quarterback position, the edge rushers for all these squads, the players in the secondary, some of the big name wide receivers, Mike Evans, Michael Pittman, and then you get down to these running backs. And
what's left?
I think there's going to be opportunities to maybe get some of these guys. Like if you could somehow get Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard interested in like, hey, here's a 2 year deal. We'll give you a little bit of a bump above franchise tag status. I think that works for both parties.
13, 14?
But
is that what you're saying?
Yes. I think that would work for both parties.
So Derrick Henry for 2 for 24.
Yeah. It's not what they want to do, but it's what's going to be there.
2 for 24. Of all those guys, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, anybody else on the list? Who's number one on your list if you're in the market? I know who mine is. Who's yours?
For me, I have it Derrick Henry, Jacobs, Barkley, Pollard.
I have Jacobs first, and only because he's younger, and I know he was hurt last year. It's hard for me to have him above Derrick Henry, but I have Jacobs. He would be the guy. He's the closest to me to be a 3-down back, and I have Jacobs, Henry, Saquon, Pollard. Where are you? Do you see like those 4? What order? If you were looking to go target running backs, it's whatever order. It's Saquon, it's Pollard, it's Derrick Henry, it's Josh Jacobs. What order do you want them
I like Saquon first.
You want Suh, and he's third on both of our lists.
Yeah, I just think in the right position, he could be really effective in the passing game. So I think if he goes to the perfect fit, he could end up being the most productive of those.
Why can you trust him being healthy? Like with all due respect, and I hate putting a tag of being. And is that why he's low on your list too? I'm going to assume
Yeah.
he's just never healthy, dude.
In this exercise, I'm assuming health, and you're right. He is.
Well, so who do you want, dude? I mean, you don't know what it's going to be for the next 2 years.
And that's why I'm saying skill set. I'd like Saquon on that.
Well, but who do you? So that's if you were a general manager, that would be the first guy you target,
It would be,
and then
probably Josh Jacobs, followed by probably Henry.
okay, yeah, we all have different lists.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I have Jacobs first. I just think he's the most versatile and as much as I love Derrick Henry, at 30, that's the magic number. To me, Jacobs is the closest to a reliable 3-down back in that group.
I'm just thinking if, especially for Derrick Henry, he's going to try to get the most he can because this is the last contract he's going to have.
Yeah.
If I'm Baltimore, I'm Buffalo,
Baltimore's perfect.
the Dallas Cowboys,
Dallas is perfect. I mean, Dallas.
like this is a luxury signing from one of those teams.
Well,
like,
but is
leaning
it,
on a guy for
is it a luxury if you don't have another back? I mean, it's somewhat a necessity.
It is
if you don't have.
because
Well, if you're Dallas, who do you have right now?
you don't have anyone right now, but you
You're
also
gonna
have to figure
draft
out your left tackle and Tyron
I-
Smith, and if
no,
you're
I'll-
going to get him paid up. But it's still a veteran running back with a name.
Who still performs, dude? Like if you're Buffalo and you have James Cook, to me it's a luxury. And if you're Baltimore, I don't even know who you have, man. You go through running backs like it's unbelievable, and you plug them in, and they're good for 3 games. They get hurt. I mean, I hate that. I hate saying that, but it feels like every week I don't know who's running the ball for Baltimore. They get
Most consistent player they've had is Gus Edwards.
yeah, and he's been hurt a lot too. It's whatever they do at that position, man. That dude gets hurt, and Lamar runs more than anybody else, and he doesn't get hurt for the most part. I'm down with it. And then there's other names like if you're starting going down to the J.K. Dobbins, Zach Moss, Ezekiel Elliott, I'm probably looking 4th round of the draft, aren't I? Cheaper, fresher.
Yeah, all these guys will be. I expect the majority of them may be scooped up in the summer or right before training.
Zeke got another year in him. I thought Zeke was good the back end of last year. Oh, Zeke was. I mean, he was carrying the mail for them when Stevenson was hurt for New England. I thought he was fine. The running back market is going to be really, really interesting. And because there's more money, and to your point, that money's going to be spent elsewhere. And this is all right. What's left for these guys? But who would you take? What order would you go in? At 505-246-0610. And yep, we got phones today. 505-246-0610. Come on in. What order? You got those free agent backs, and you're a team, and I don't know. I mean, maybe you are Dallas. Who makes running back a priority right now? As you look at it and you say, who really? It might be the Chargers. You know, if Austin Eckler's gone, what Jim Harbaugh wants to do with that offense. I mean, the Chargers need a back. Would Josh Jacobs work there? Would Saquon work there? They might be a team who's. But I know they were before the 30 million plus. They
still have a lot of work to do when you look at these teams that are in trouble with the cap space. Like, this doesn't automatically save you. If I'm the Chargers and they still have a lot of older players you want to figure out, like Austin Eckler's moving on, maybe it makes you think about restructuring a Khalil Mack and keeping him in the fold, things like that. But I do think it's going to be fascinating because I think any of these guys, you know, we know how the game has changed, and we look at running backs and you can find plug and play. Like, you look at the Super Bowl this year. You had like the complete opposite. You had Christian McCaffrey,
who was your bell
first round pick.
Yeah.
He's been fantastic on the field versus Isaiah Pacheco, who they got in the 7th round.
Yeah, you don't even know where he came from. Yeah, there's a couple teams that I think that probably think they're decent that could add that piece that don't have it. I think Minnesota still thinks they're pretty good, especially if they sign Kirk Cousins. They don't. Alexander Madison didn't work for them. I think that the Chargers probably think they're pretty good. I think the Cowboys think they're pretty good. They need a running back. And with all due respect, now so do the Giants. They got to be in that market, right? I mean, if Saquon's gone, they got to be in that market too. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Your emails will come in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. We are on the visual medium on Comcast Channel 26, on our Facebook page, the OD in the AM, and also on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. Adrian's producing for you on ProView Networks, and the show looks great on the visual side. And for those of you, like Dan was texting yesterday, we couldn't hear the callers. It was because we were using a third-party app because we didn't have phones and it didn't get through. That will all be rectified today, and all that stuff will be back up, and you should be good. When we come back, is Russell Wilson buying what he's selling? Are you buying what he's selling? Let's ride. Next on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
ripped,
plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Bronco Country, let's ride. Bronco Country. Come on, say it with me. Let's ride. It's Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. Soon you'll be rid of Russell Wilson. Is it this week? When does his roster bonus hit that they're going to have to get rid of him by? It's like any day now, isn't it? It's all next week. It's the opening drive. Jefferson Vieta, JJ Buck. You guys are Bronco fans. How you feel about your quarterback? You're still your quarterback, right?
It's almost one of those things where, yeah, he's on the Broncos roster, but he's not their quarterback.
How you feeling?
Oh goodness! Every day it's something, man. It's like you reset and you're like, okay, it's a new day. Oh wait, Russell Wilson. All right, talking about that again. I don't know, man. I hope something does happen. I believe it's the 17th of March is when they have to make their decision. I could be wrong on that. It might be the 13th, but it is coming soon. You're right. And I'm just hoping whatever decision they make it soon and they just stand on it. Because if it is Russell, fine. I mean, just let it be known and move on.
It's not. And look, his $37 million salary for 2025, which is guaranteed for injury, becomes fully guaranteed on March 17th is your date. Unless he agrees to delay the vesting of the guarantee after the 2024 season, the Broncos are going to cut him before that. So March 17th is the date. He was on the I Am Athlete podcast this week. This was with Brandon Marshall. And he was asked about it. Look, there's betting odds where Russ would be or will be next year. I think Pittsburgh is the betting favorite, if I'm not mistaken. This is your quarterback. This is my quarterback. This Russell Wilson on does he want to stay in Denver? I want to feel so much of what he said was in the past tense. I committed here. I wanted to win here. I wanted to be here. And then he kind of corrects himself. I want to be here. You heard that. That's because with all due respect to me, it's Russ. It's cringy. I hear nothing. Like I hear nothing there. And it's 35 and I still feel good. I got to tell you, there's 20, maybe 25, maybe more quarterbacks that I would take before Russell Wilson.
Have you ever heard anyone talk about the chill of the trophy?
Not one time, no. It's unique. I like unique things, but like, all right, cute.
When he says it, though, it just feels weird.
100%. What'd you hear?
Russell Wilson is trying to be the good soldier in this, but that ship has sailed. And he has to understand that. Like, he is not going to get anyone back on his side. Him and Sean Payton are at odds. He also went on later in that podcast to kind of rehash the injury guarantee going back and forth with Sean Payton.
What do you say?
Just the same thing, bringing it up. They came to me after all this. I didn't want to do that. And
so they benched me.
It's one where Russ is trying to say, hey, I'm still here. I'll be the quarterback of the Denver Broncos. And he's got to realize everyone has made their decision on this. Russell Wilson, if he's cut by the Denver Broncos, is going to be the number 2 or number 3 quarterback on the market because Denver is going to be paying him all that money, and he can sign for the veteran minimum somewhere, which is a fantastic deal for whoever signs Russell Wilson. Because Russ is not as bad as he was last year. He wasn't. Like to think there's 25 other guys. Like Russell Wilson wasn't great, but Russell Wilson is not the bottom of the quarterback. 25 other guys you're taking.
You want me to start?
Yes.
Josh Allen.
Oh,
Two.
yeah. We don't need to start with.
Well, I mean, I'm just going by. I'm going down teams, right? Josh
taking
Allen,
Daniel
Tua
Jones?
Tagovailoa, Daniel Jones.
You're taking Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I am. Yes, I am.
Because I think it's one where the reality of it, Denver's not a good football team. And Russell Wilson's not that quarterback anymore. That's going to take average and make it look really good.
All right, so to say there's not 25, that means there's 7 guys, right? There's 32 teams. So there's got to be 6 who I would take him over. I mean, what team? Whatever Washington's got, I'll take him over that. All right, I'll give you that. Who do they have? Well, Sam Howell showed me some stuff, but all right, I'll take him over Sam Howell.
Where are they drafting?
I'll take him over Sam Howell. I'll take him over the Taylor Heineke, Desmond Ritter thing. Where else are you going? Tell me where else you're going. Geno Smith? I'm taking Geno. What's Vegas throwing out there?
Aiden O'Connell.
I might take him over Aiden O'Connell, I guess. Yeah, okay.
Russell Wilson is in the Derek Carr phase of his career at this point in time.
But you honestly, there's 7 guys that you would take him over, like their number 1 quarterback. There's 7 out there. 6, even 6. There to me, there's not. There's not.
Well, and then there's just the reality of it. There's some situations that, what they have. I would take Russell Wilson over Daniel Jones.
I wouldn't.
He could slide in and be a starter immediately
in Pittsburgh, in
Washington,
Atlanta, and Atlanta.
He could
and it
start for the Minnesota Vikings next year.
Well, if they don't have
come
Kirk
back.
Cousins, yeah.
So this is one just for Russell Wilson though. Going back to this comment and anything that he says at this point in time, the narrative's not swinging back.
So I want to play that because why? And it's not like Sean Payton's this warm, fuzzy, likable guy, and he's in a battle with Sean Payton. And with all due respect, I'm struggling to warm up to him. I don't know where you guys are as Bronco fans, but is it because Russ is just so cringy and he was so bad? Like, there's been dudes who have been bad quarterbacks or just whatever. And is it because you gave up so much for him and he fell off the cliff? Is it because of the way he is? He's so cheesy and schmaltzy and insincere. Because the guy with whom he is battling, this head coach, it's not like he's out there killing it, by the way.
No, he's not. And I'm with you. Sean Payton, if I'm Denver, I'm taking a step back on what did I invest in? I sent a first-round pick to acquire Sean Payton to work with Russell Wilson and understand that Russell Wilson was never going to live up to the contract. And it's hard to take that out of the equation, but it's there. Deal with it. Instead, what you got is Sean Payton storing up more ish, coming in saying, Jared Stidham's a better quarterback than Russell Wilson, but I'm not going to play Jared Stidham all this season because it's Russell Wilson. And then to get to the last 2 games of the season and cause this mess, it makes 0 sense to me the way Sean Payton played it. Instead of, if you wanted to get to a break at the end, okay. But you should have been like, hey, we fought really hard this year. I was proud of what we were able to accomplish, the winning streaks, but it's time. Instead, he's just stirring up that pot. And I'm looking at Sean Payton going, man, what have you?
Thank you.
You done?
Thank you.
That makes us
think. You won 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Winning head coach.
So is Nick Sirianni.
With Drew Brees.
Yep.
And yet you're supposed to be this quarterback whisperer. Show me something.
Oh, no, Nick Sirianni's not. He didn't win. Doug Peterson. I'm with you. Where are you on Peyton? Are you in love with him? Like, are you? Because when the Broncos got, oh my, this is the savior. And when you look at what they gave up for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, when you look at the assets they gave up for those 2 guys, and they are the team with the longest playoff drought in the National Football League. I mean, are you sold on him? You kind of got to be because you're married to him.
I am starting to question George Payton, but in questioning George Payton, I am starting to get a little skeptical about the Sean Payton hire. I mean, I think he was probably the best coach available for their situation when they got him. So I'm okay with that. I just feel like whatever he and George Paton worked out, it doesn't feel like that deal was, maybe both of them, I don't know. It just seems to me that Paton came in and thought one thing and maybe George thought another, and it's just not working. It seems like something is off balance there, and that between the GM and the head coach. And I hope that gets addressed, and maybe by changing quarterback it will. I'm not sure, but I am starting to question what the plan is with Sean Payton.
It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, because I mean, look, he was really good with Drew Brees. Drew Brees threw for more yards. Am I wrong than anybody in the history of the National Football League? Like Belichick was really good with Tom Brady, and Walsh was good with Montana and Young. Like I'm not going to hold it against him that he was good with a good quarterback, but he was brought in, to JJ's point, to specifically work with this quarterback whom you invested, and he just cut bait. Now I'm not sure I could totally blame him, because I don't think Russell Wilson's got it anymore. You guys, I know JJ certainly you think.
Talking about a dude that threw the 9th most touchdowns.
Yep.
In the NFL last year. Just 8 interceptions.
Okay.
He's top 10 QBR. Yards are down, but you saw an offense that, I think Jerry Jeudy
was
not worth your investment.
What was his record?
8-9.
Well, it wasn't his record. I mean,
well, the Broncos were 8-9 overall, and instead of starting 2 games.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. Bronco fan, I know you're out there. You can get in on this conversation too. You believe Russ? Do you care? Is it like, let's just be done? Like just go, man. March 17th, just cut him and let him go, and let's move on. When we come back, this rule seems to generate more emotion than any rule in the National Football League. When you fumble through the end zone, what should happen? The NFL Competition Committee may have made a decision on what they're going to do with that. Some of you are going to be happy. Some of you are going to be choked. I'll let you know. Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Delays northbound on Isleta.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Vegas during the conference basketball tournaments as it does on a regular basis. Looking forward to being out there. And I know so many of you Lobo fans are going as well, but those of you who are going to be here and those of you who are there, you can listen on the app or however you get it. I want to say thank you to the partners who are making sure that we are there for you once again. Frontier Restaurant, an Albuquerque tradition for more than 50 years. Coleman Vision, perfect game. Airport parking, easier, quicker, smarter. And Enchanted Mechanical, the heating and cooling doctor. They are making sure that we are going to be there for you. All right, DC, this is a rule, and I have no problem with the fumbling through the end zone. It's a turnover, it's a touchback, it goes out to the 20. It should be penal. It is penal. It shouldn't just be a fumble and it goes back and you get the ball, at the 1 yard line. People lose their mind over this one. To me, I see no other way to rule this. You fumble, you reach, it goes through the end zone. It went through the field of play. It's a touchback and it's a bummer. It's high risk, high reward. Where are you on that rule? Do you hate it like other people do?
Not at all. I think it's perfect. I can't think of a way to change it that would make it any better.
Well, some people have said give the fumbling team the ball back at the 10 or at the point of fumble, which no way. At the 20, I don't like any of it.
No, I don't either. All the players know the rule. They know how it works. What happens if you fumble through? I know when it happens to your team, it's not fun.
No, it's a bummer when it does.
Right, but it is the game, and I actually think it adds an interesting twist that you can turn a game very quickly if you defend that well. So I have no issue with it whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm good with the rule. And JJ, I think you're good with it too, right?
I am good with it. It's one, to me, it's so easy to get a touchdown. You just have to, like a centimeter, boom, over the plane, boom, hold on to it. Just hold on to it. Complete the motion of a run.
Yep.
And if you fumble through the end zone,
it's penal.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Like, there's things that should penalize you. Like, oh, it doesn't happen anywhere else. The end zone's only in one place. Can't happen anywhere else.
And then there's the other half of you who think that it should not be, that it's too penal, that it's ridiculous. The NFL Competition Committee has been discussing this, and they see no need to change the rule on fumbling through the end zone, per report on CBS Sports this morning. The Competition Committee defended the rule, saying the player carrying the ball is responsible for maintaining control, using this as the reasoning for why that rule does not need to be changed. It's NBC Sports Report. The Competition Committee is not expected to recommend to teams that the rule be changed. Okay? Look, the rule's different when the ball goes out of bounds between the end zones. If the ball carrier loses control, the ball goes out of play in the 100 yards of field, the offense maintains possession, right? Many use the disparity between what happens between the goal lines as reasoning to change what happens if the ball goes out of the end zone. Why is it different when it's at the end zone? Well, because it's the end of the field of play, basically. Any rule that goes through a change, by the way, would require 3 to 4 months of voting. And there have been talks of changing this rule to give the offense ball. Here's where you are, DC. To to give the offense the ball back at the spot of the fumble, which to me is just ridiculous because then there's no penalty, or on the opposing team's 15-yard line. So you back it up to the 15-yard line. So if it was 3rd down and goal, you back it up and now it's 4th and goal at the 15. I just know. The way I look. Well, one reason for not changing the rule, though, is because they don't have a better solution, is what they said. This is a quote from Jonathan Jones, who's a CBS Sports Insider. He said, at the heart of the issue, a source said, is that no one has been able to crystallize what an alternative rule would be. It's what we were just talking about. And if no one cares enough to offer an alternative to the rule, there won't be any change to the rule. That was the quote. All right, look, it happened. It's happened 8 times total since 2018. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 6 seasons has happened 8 times. A little over once a season. And I know some of you are losing your mind over this because you lost a fantasy game when your dude fumbled through the end zone. And no, honestly, that's how people lose their look. I'm not going to lie to you, that great fantasy football team I told you about, the Jets turned the ball over with 3 minutes to go in a Monday night game, and the Chargers returned it to the one and Austin Eckler getting in, still sticks in. So they should have given him a damn touch. Yeah, that's how people react to this. I applaud the Rules Committee for not making a change here. To me, this was as much as people don't like it, I think it's right.
I'm there with you. Sometimes you get penalized for what happens on the field.
Yes.
And the fact that the end zones are in 2 places. That side of the field and that side of the field, wherever you're standing.
And it is different in between them, yes.
And it's different rules in between. But once you get there, hold on to the football.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just hold on. When you threw out those options, getting the ball back where you fumbled is ridiculous. If they do that, it's almost an advantage. Like you're getting a second shot at it. That's totally ridiculous. Going back to 15, I can understand the thought process on it, but still, I think it's the way it is and the way it should be.
Yeah. All right. How do you feel about that one? Right? I mean, and we're open for you at 505-246-0610. And a Lobo fan, look, if you still want to get in on Lobo basketball, by the way, over the weekend, you're welcome to do that. And we're here for that as well. We're going to talk some hoops when we get back. Kenny Thomas is going to be with us at 9 o'clock. We'll kick it with Kenny, talk about the Lobo game last weekend, look forward to what's next. We get some real good NBA stuff. When we come back, LeBron James is the one who brought up playing in the NBA with his son, right?
Yes,
He's the one who said he wants to stick around to play. But now he's chastising the media over projecting where his son might play. Let the kid be a kid, says the king. Really? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by...
Get into the sink on the offense. Here's Renfro.
Renfro throws up a wild one and scores.
So turning potential lemons into lemonade is Archuleta. Steverson pulls up from deep. Are you kidding?
He's going to go up with it. No good. Too strong. Loose ball. Going to get kicked right into the hands of Jackson. Here comes Mitchell. Mitchell puts that one in. A little bit of a baby dunk, but
Drive. Looking to spin. Blocked from behind by Creighton Johnson. 3-on-2 for Sandia. Thomas Adams goes all the way, and he's fouled.
Look out, layup.
Lund
There
in
we
transition.
go.
Get out the phone. Slam dunk. Damon Lund.
Dyer. Dyer is going to get that one absolutely sent back.
A floater from 5 feet. Stolen away. Steverson. Here comes the money. Dunk.
Three, and that could be a dangerous thing for El Dorados. That's just going to be stolen by Chavez, and he's going to put that one down.
Pius 30, Highland 26, Lincoln on the inbound. Lincoln gonna try to get to the three-point line. He steps back, puts up the three. Yes! At the buzzer, Jesus Lincoln. McConnell stops his dribble under 5 seconds. Stolen away by Hernandez. Hornets on the move. Hernandez gonna get the shot up, and it goes at the buzzer. Back-to-back buzzer beaters for Highlands.
Looking to find some space. He does. Puts it up with the right hand. No, Steverson.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet? Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
I'm going out, Grandma.
When are you coming home?
I'll be home late. Don't wait up, okay?
Be careful, mijito.
Love you, Grandma.
Mijito, he's a good man. Sometimes he just makes bad decisions. I tell him, mijito, cuidado, be careful. You might hurt someone. He doesn't listen.
Until you stop, okay?
Hello.
It's me.
Hi, mijo, where are you?
Dale was drinking and driving. I need you to come and get me, okay? Please, Grandma? Can you just come and get me?
Erickson, he says Wilson sucks. No to Pittsburgh. Yeah, all right. He's a Steelers fan. And then the text line says, morning, guys. How many of those fumbles in the end zone were self-inflicted by showboating? I don't know the answer to that.
It's such a small percentage.
I think it is a small percentage.
Because those ones are always highlighted.
Yeah, but just don't fumble. Like fumbling should be penal.
Especially if a defender makes a play on it. If he punches it out at the end.
And a lot of that's what that was. And so it goes through the end zone. Well, if it goes out of bounds in the field of play, yeah, but this isn't the field of play. Like it is more intense down there. Yeah, I got no problem with it, man. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Just how it is. Strauss texted in, by the way. I was listening to House of Strauss last night, and he was talking about something about how back in the day when the Lobos beat Marshall Falk and San Diego State, and I think Lobo Hobo called him and fact-checked it. He's like, yeah, I'll probably get fact-checked by the those sports animal guys. Never mind. They never listen to this show. They'll never listen to my show. And I'm like, no, I text them. Oh, I'm listening. Yeah. Oh,
I know you sometimes over there you can take facts as not necessarily facts, right? So.
You mean they're not facts? Facts isn't facts?
Just put on the gold shoes and say whatever you want.
Don't even. I had the gold shoes first, by the way. You saw I had those gold sneakers first, right?
Believe me.
Mine don't believe me. Mine don't have the big T on them. but I did have those gold sneakers.
Now you're like, dang it.
Where am I going? Where are those? All right. LeBron James took a shot at the media yesterday, which whatever. Everybody takes a shot at the media. I don't have a problem with that.
Get in line.
But I looked at this and I'm like, okay, isn't LeBron James the one who has outwardly over the last bunch of years said he wants to stay in the league until he plays with his son, Bronny? Like him and Bronny are going to play in the NBA together, right?
That is correct.
All right. LeBron was once the number 1 overall pick. Bronny is like Bronny's not, right? Nobody's taken Bronny is a nice to okay college player, correct? With a health scare, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Like LeBron James. I'm gonna let you finish. Hold on. This is one where. Did you forget what you said, LeBron? I think you forgot what he said.
And that's where this goes. So look, Bronny's been projected as a high as a lottery in the 2024 draft, but then he had that offseason cardiac arrest, an uneven at best freshman season at USC, and his stock has dropped. So Monday, earlier this week, ESPN released its first mock draft for 2025. What year is this? 2020? What year are we in?
2024.
All right. Sometimes I forget. Is it weird that I forget years?
So that would be next year's draft.
So not this summer's draft, but next summer's. And Bronny had previously been considered a likely one and done, was listed as coming back to college and then being the number 39th overall pick after what would be his sophomore season at USC. Right? There's a lot of names on there, man. So there was a lot of talk and fans and media wondering if that meant that Bronny now is going to stay at USC. Does ESPN know something? Is Bronny staying for another year? LeBron didn't take kindly to the speculation. Now, he put out a tweet, and he has since deleted the tweet. But he basically went off on the people for putting too much weight on mock draft. Quote now. This is LeBron's tweet. Can y'all please just let the kid be a kid and enjoy college basketball? The work and results will ultimately do the talking no matter what he decides to do. If y'all don't know, he doesn't care what a mock draft says. He just works, earned, not given. That was the tweet. And then there was this. It was more. And to all the other kids out there striving to be great, just keep your head down. Blinders on and keep grinding. These mock drafts doesn't matter one bit. I promise you. Only the work matters. Let's talk real basketball, people. And then he peace sign and a crown. And that was it. Like he's the one who started all this, isn't he? How do you get to say all that and then criticize? And I get it, man. When it's your kid and people are talking about your kid, you get it gets personal. Nobody bagged on the kid unless you think having him 39th in next year's draft as opposed to.
Well, he's got to understand, and he should know that people are going to crush his kid because it's his son, and that's what if you open social media, everyone gets crushed. What social media is all about. But this one, LeBron, you started this, man. Like, that's what you should have led with. When he got to USC, you should have said that Bronny James was never a one and done talent. He was only that because of his last name. And so people just assume that he'd come out, get drafted, and then his dad will go play wherever he was drafted. He's not that dude.
Supposedly the younger brother's better than him. And maybe that's right. I don't know.
LeBron James opening the door of saying, I want to play with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Then people go crazy like, well, you need to draft Bronny James because then that means LeBron James is going to be on your team for a year or two. And then he goes through the heart thing, which is just to see him back on the basketball court is fantastic for Bronny. And then, did you forget this? In January of this year.
That's where I was saying next. Yes.
The Lakers lost to the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
And LeBron James comes out and says that Bronny, quote, could play for us right now.
Easy.
And so you're fueling that fire.
Like
and now you're trying
to right?
put up a shield. You got to understand it's coming when you start those things. You should have led with this. You should have said, hey, Bronny's going to do his thing. I love the fact that LeBron is there supporting his son.
If his name was Bronny Buck or, I don't know, Austin Buck for that matter, would he be an NBA prospect?
Not right now.
He's averaging 5.5 points at SC this season. I don't know if he's a kid or consider whatever you want a kid. He's making a lot of NIL money. He is an NBA prospect. He's got a very, very, very famous name. is daddy's out there pumping him up. So there's going to be speculation. And there's mock drafts. And by the way, it's not going to be the last mock draft that Bronny James shows up in, whether it's this year's or next year. But college players of his caliber, more so his fame, draw significant coverage, no matter what their fathers think. But his father is out there. LeBron, like every time, and I told you this before we started, I every time he opens his mouth, I really, really try to not be the guy that rips on LeBron James. And he is an amazing basketball player. And I get it, when you're a dad, it's even more, right? There's more. But you can't go out there and put your kid on that pedestal and say, I want to play with my kid, and then not and lose your mind because he's in a mock draft.
I think
somewhere.
the playing with his son stuff, I'm fine with.
I'm fine with that too. The issue is the chastising of the media when they follow up. It's what has happened
that he's trying to push back with. When you said, "Oh, this dude could play in the NBA right now," and then you're upset that people are using that quote and then pushing back on it. You should have built that wall beforehand. LeBron James knows better than that. That people are going to come at his kid, people are going to analyze everything he said when it came to his son, and it's one that you just can't have it both.
I guess, I mean, he was tired of complaining about the refs from the night before, so he complained about ESPN's mock draft. It's been a lot, man. But it's I just don't know how you can start that and expect it. You don't get to control everybody's narrative. Even though you are the king, this is not a monarchy. You do not get to rule the land from your throne, and thou shalt not speak of my son, Bronny, who could play for us right now. Easy. But he can't. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Hour.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. my wife, and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the Frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Five years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
So you get all kinds of franchise tag stuff over the next couple of days and re-upping and contracts and cuttings, and we'll get into that. We'll do the NFL Red Zone coming up at 8:15 this morning if you're down with that, DC. A 2-time Pro Bowler, former New Mexico Bowl Defensive Player of the Game, JJ. He got cut today. He will find a job. Shaquille Barrett, former Colorado State star. He had basically a $15 million option due next month and was a big salary cap hit. So 31 years old, and it doesn't feel like he's 31 years old. It feels like he was just playing here. He made two of the best plays, but only one counted in the history of New Mexico Bowl, DC. He was playing for Colorado State. Washington State and Mike Leach were in. And Washington State got a first down with 2:06 to go. They were up by 8, and the game was over. They had no more timeouts, and Washington State snapped the ball with about 18 on the play clock. Connor Halliday, their quarterback, who had thrown for 6 touchdown passes in the game, kept the ball. Shaquille Barrett ripped it out, fumble. Colorado State was getting the ball back. There was like a 7-minute replay on that one. Remember that? It was forever.
Wow.
And they reversed the call. I was like, oh. Next play, they hand off the running back, and Shaquille Barrett again goes in, rips the ball out, and recovers it. Washington State turns it over. Colorado State scored with 33 seconds to go. Down by 2. They run a Statue of Liberty for the 2-point play. Rashid, what was his name? Doggone it. Rashard Higgins, I'm pretty sure was the receiver, goes the pylon, sticks the pylon out, or ball to the pylon. Referee stumbles, falls away, almost fell down, came up and no good. Another replay. After replay was good, we got a tie game with 33 seconds to go, 45-45. Connor Halliday's getting the ball back, Mike Leach offense with 33 seconds and 2 timeouts. Colorado State kicks off, Washington State returns, fumble the kickoff. Colorado State got it, kicked a field goal at the gun, won 48-45. That was the Shaquille Barrett game. Was that the best one we've had? That one of the year? That was the best one.
Yeah,
that one was insane.
That was just why the ending was unbelievable. Like, people were already like, all right, this is over. Done.
That was the year before everybody left. That was the Nevada, when Nevada came back and scored 2 touchdowns in the last minute. Everybody was gone.
Back to back. Those Colorado State teams were stacked.
The Michael Gallup, Rashard Higgins, the receivers that came through there, Shaquille Barrett. Yeah. That was Capri Bibbs. He was the running back.
Monster.
Yeah. Remember Capri Bibbs?
I do, actually.
Yeah, he was a Bronco.
Yes. Wow, I haven't heard that name in a while. I got to tell you, I actually do remember that, because the Statue of Liberty is one of those plays that anytime it comes up, I make sure to watch it, because it's awesome.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, that is wild.
Jim McElwain was the coach of that team,
yeah.
Of the Colorado State team, and that was another one of those where you realize, yeah, bowl games matter. How upset they were, one team was, and I remember the AD of The same exact thing Greg Byrne of Arizona did the year before he came over from Colorado State. Hey, Jeff, thanks. Merry Christmas. We had a great time. Slinks away. And, 2 minutes of game time later, he's hugging me. It was the greatest thing ever, but it mattered. So Shaquille Barrett got released today by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hey, we didn't get into this, and the world's talking about it, and I think we need to a little bit. Where are we on court storming? JJ and I used to have these conversations about 3 years ago. It felt like every morning we came in and somebody stormed the court in college basketball, right? And we used to tell Lobo fan, relax, man, you're better than that. You don't need, this isn't worth storming the court. And there haven't been a lot around here. There have been some. Where are you guys on the court storming? We've watched 2 instances this year. Caitlin Clark of Iowa got hit in a court storming, and then the Duke player, Filipowski, got injured or hurt. I guess hurt more so than injured. Like, they're dangerous as hell. I've never been a fan of them, but I know people sit here and tell me, I was listening to Strauss last night, it's it's tradition, it's fun, it's great, it's wonder, it's a great. I mean, I'm not there, but I'll listen to people who tell me why it is. Where are you guys?
Court storming is fun, but there's a giant problem because what we saw with Kyle Filipowski, what we see is when the fans are storming on the court, they are taking that as license to, if you're in my way, I'm going to bump you, whatever. And it's not all of them.
It just takes one.
But when you have hundreds of people rushing on the court in the moment, and players not even on the sideline yet, it's going to cause problems.
Where do you want
because
these
the
guys
players
to
are
go?
going to be defensive. They just lost.
And they're pissed.
And you're also a little nervous. You're like, there's hundreds of students rushing us. I am isolated in this situation. I'm putting my arms up. I'm putting my elbows up. I'm taking my shots. You're pissed off and you're nervous and you're anxious in that moment. And college kids could care less at that moment in time because they want to go celebrate.
And they're drunk. Well, I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure some are. And it's one where it looks cool, it's fun, but there's a giant problem.
I agree with that. There's a giant problem. I've never partaken in a court storming, field storming, anything like that, so I do not speak from experience. I all those dangers, we can go on and on. I do see the argument that it's part of it and it's part of tradition and everything. So one suggestion I heard yesterday on ESPN on Mike Greenberg's show was, what if you had a countdown timer?
Yeah, but who's listening to that? Okay, wait, don't storm the court until 30 seconds. I mean, who's listening to that? Come on.
I mean, if there's a good reason to, if you know that you're going to have to vacate a win, if you know that if you break that surface before you can, you may never go to another game. I mean, if there's clear rules and people understand them, I think it could.
Yeah,
work.
I don't know that I think people would understand them nor care. I appreciate that. I think in a perfect world, I can listen to that. I look at it and I'm like, okay, I've got people storming your office, right? I mean, basically, right? They're storming the court. The reason they're storming the court is because it's a big win. So the team who lost is obviously distraught, right? They just got beat in a game that they probably shouldn't, felt they shouldn't have lost. So they're upset. They're emotional. But what if Kyle Filipowski would have put up an arm and dropped the guy? Now
he did. Like, at least he was, because the dudes were running at him and he's putting his.
He got spun around. What if he'd have hit someone? What if
then he would have? People would have lost their mind.
People would have lost their mind. Now, someone hits him, it's some random drunk college kid, or I say drunk. I just assume. No, they don't drink at Wake Forest, Jeff. It's a Baptist school. Oh, okay. Some random kid comes on the floor. I'd like to believe kid. I'd like to believe it's not a grown-ass man, but maybe it is. And spins around. The Caitlin Clark thing, dude. If a player defends themselves and hits back, we got a problem. Everything about it is wrong. Now, I say that hypocritically because to your point, I did field storm. I told you the story of my first time on ESPN. I field storm. But I never once thought about going after a big BYU football player. I just wanted to get in the middle and jump around and be a drunk idiot.
And I think that's what the majority of them want to
and
do.
It just takes one.
But it's also a much more confined space.
Yeah.
And you have these players that are isolated.
So
getting stuck in the middle of hundreds of people.
So you kind of know when it's coming. Is it on security then to escort, somehow form a tunnel? I don't know how. Here's the number one responsibility. Now, at some point, the home team's somebody's gonna get injured. We see guys get injured all the time in celebrations, right? All the time we hear about a celebration, a guy got injured. One of the Grammatica brothers blew out his knee celebrating a field goal kick, right? At some point, somebody on the home team is going to get injured. But we've watched two high-profile athletes get knocked around, hurt, not injured, right? Caitlin Clark and now Kyle Filipowski. I don't know, man. I've never loved the court storm. I don't know that I feel like it's a tradition. Yeah, it looks cool. Everybody's jumping up and down. Everybody's partying, and it's a great feel. And I don't want to be old man, get off my court, right? Yeah, get off my damn court. But well, you know what's crazy? And I'm going to play you the other side of this, and you might spit back at it. When the opposing team wins on your court, and they celebrate, people have a problem, right? Especially if they
do it anywhere near the logo.
Stomp on your logo. No, and you know where I'm going, right? Mm-hmm. So, DC, was it last year? New Mexico State won in the pit. It was last year. And they stomped on the logo. It was an overtime win. A last-second kind of weird layup went in. And some people say they spit on our logo. Others are like, no, they didn't spit on your logo. But gosh, Eddie Nunez was out there in his red blazer pushing dudes off the logo. It was, right? We almost had a man.
It was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
Chris Jans was
it was Jans. You're right. And people lose their mind. Well, they can't celebrate on our floor, but yet we can. I mean, is that hypocritical? It's emotional.
I think it's a little different when it's players on the court.
But we don't like that. That was bad. But it's okay for the whole damn place to come down and storm the court, and these guys have nowhere to go. I don't know the answer, guys. I'm listening.
There's not one where it's you have that immediate reaction. What you have to do is if you're playing a big game and you think that's a possibility, you have and this is so tough because a lot of those security people, they're just event workers.
That's right. And they're not all that big.
Yeah, they're not offensive linemen.
I know. A lot of them are older people in their retirement. Yeah.
Hey, where's my seat? Sit over here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, don't go over here.
Yep.
And then you're asking them to defend a wall of college students.
That's right. Who are rushing. Yeah.
Just crazy, but it's pretty much you just have to wall off the students.
Well, let me go back to your suggestion then. I mean, we're going to have a countdown clock, and then you're almost encouraging them to storm the court. Yeah.
Well, you could wall off the students.
And then what happens with the handshake line then? Oh, wait, our revered handshake line. What about that?
Sometimes it doesn't happen.
That's another conversation we've had over and over every time because 1,050 times it's fine, but the one time we have an altercation like we did with Corpus Christi and whoever the hell it was the other night.
It was Incarnate Word in Texas A&M.
That's what it was. All right.
Put that one time. On the line.
Sorry. Right? Because it happens all the time, and because some knucklehead can't handle a handshake line, well, we shouldn't do the handshake line anymore. I mean, what about the sacred handshake line? If they're
storming the court, you're not worried about the handshake line.
But how do you? So do we know they're storming? And then we have a countdown clock, or we have a countdown clock after every game. Hey, if you want to storm the court, please.
Then how does that work?
Exactly, that's my point. They're supposed to be spontaneous, isn't it? But if you're going to storm the court, please respect the 1 minute grace period to allow our opponents to leave the playing
30 seconds, and then it's like New Year's Eve countdown.
Right. And then the ball drops, and then you get to go bonkers on the floor. That doesn't seem the same thing. It's not as spontaneous and happy and yay, we just beat Duke. I mean, you think
you have a good point with that. You really do.
Because now you're encouraging them. Okay, here's the storm the court countdown clock.
But then, I don't care if you're encouraging them.
You get the other team off.
Out of the way.
And is 1 minute enough? I get all your crap and get out?
Well, not to get all your...
And in some places, like in the pit...
Junk can get out.
They got to... But they got to go the other way, right? The pit's they got to walk all the way across the floor and up that ramp. Right? Some places you got to walk across. Some places it's right there. I don't know, man. I don't know that there is
just
a solution.
Do the NBA post game where you just do the Little wave.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then just walk away.
Which I'm fine with. But I'm not saying get rid of the whole thing, but other people are, right? There's fines in the SEC now. And if I'm a drunk college kid, some kid, I'm out with your fraternity brothers, you really give a damn that the school's going to get charged $300,000 because I get to run on the court? I don't think you do you?
No. No. If you're with the fraternity brothers, you're not concerned about your school's $300,000.
Let's go. We just beat Duke. We just beat Vanderbilt. Let's go storm the court. We're not storming the court for Vanderbilt?
Well, they're not top 20, so
they're not.
We're not going to get the full 1 minute countdown.
And Wake Forest was favored.
Yeah.
In that game, they stormed the court.
Yeah.
But that is also the power of that darn number by your name.
It is. Well,
I think the most overrated thing in college basketball is top 25.
But one of them, it's Duke, dude, and the proximity there on Tobacco Row, and them being an hour 15 minutes.
Duke is Duke.
Yeah, they are, and they're on TV more than Live with the Beaver reruns. So yeah, it is. All right, you want to do Red Zone when we get back? Feels like a month since we've done a Red Zone.
Can we find something that make Jeff happy this morning?
Am I not happy about anything? I'm happy about them not changing that rule about fumbling through the end zone. I'm really happy about that too. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, I'm happy we're doing Red Zone. I'm happy Kenny's going to be here.
I am too.
We're going to kick it with Kenny here at 9:00. I'm happy to be here with you. Even you.
Don't lie.
Yeah, both of you. I'm happy. I'm going to get another cup of coffee before the Red Zone on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Sound.
This report is sponsored by.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet? Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
This one says, the people I hear complaining the most and the loudest about court storming are the ones who lose. Well, certainly. No, nobody complains when they win, they storm the court, and they have a good time, and yay, look at us. Yes. Good sportsmanship, this one says, includes learning how to lose. Yeah, what does that have to do with it? Yes. And then this one's so good. It's from Joseph. Please proceed to the court in an orderly fashion. And that's good question marks. Like, I mean, again, there's no, you either do, like JJ just said in the break. You just said you either do it or you don't. Right? I mean, there's
this isn't about sportsmanship or being a good loser. This is the fact that you're a player isolated by yourself on that court. And not everyone is going after you, but there's elbows coming up. They're running into you. Takes one dude that is feeling himself that, is going to do the shove and run away. Like, that's what it's about. It's not about not being able to lose. It's when you're that player that gets caught in the middle of 100 of opposing students. You're like, well, I'm going to fight my way out of this.
Y'all had a big buddy who got a little loose and yelled at players all the time, and now he's on the floor next to that dude and feeling pretty good about himself with a couple in him, huh? It takes one. But I mean, ladies and gentlemen, as you storm the court, please proceed to the court in an orderly fashion. And we're going to allow our visitors from Durham to get off the playing surface safely, so please observe the 60-second storm clock.
And children under 12, please storm from the baseline.
That's right. Ladies from the left, men from the north. What are we doing?
That wouldn't work.
I don't know how we're doing it. Are you want to do red zone?
Got the sound back.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football?
You're like a full functioning radio station.
Oh my goodness.
You're a football player. Oh yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this thing.
You're in the red zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
Well, boys, we're back with the NFL State of the Union. Today it's going to be the NFC East. So we'll start with the NFC East champions, the Dallas Cowboys. They're about $20 million over the cap, and they've got some big names on potentially unrestricted free agents this offseason. So what do you have for the Dallas Cowboys?
Right? As Carlisle used to say all the time, right? Remember when he was on the morning show? He would just go, when he did, like, he wasn't sure of his take. He would just go, You and I, JJ, feel way differently on Dak Prescott, but I believe you got to keep him, right? He's your quarterback. You're invested. Where else are you going? How are you getting better? I just don't think he gets you to where you want to go. I don't think you ever running back. I think they dabble in the market to see if they can get a Josh Jacobs or something after they settle all their cap stuff. But I don't know how they settle their cap stuff. I think they're okay defensively, not nearly as good as they were when they were shutting out the Jets and the Giants and winning by a million. They've got a really good receiver. And I think they've got a good young tight end. Their offensive line is okay. I think they're okay, but that's not their standard, and which means they're not okay.
Mr. No one's good enough to play quarterback in the NFL, Symbieta over here.
That's just not me. I've watched Dak Prescott for how many years? I don't think he's a guy to win the Super Bowl. That's all.
First and foremost, you rework Dak Prescott's contract to get that number down, move forward with him as your starting quarterback, and then you are able to focus on the needs. They need to be stronger in the middle of the defense. It starts with the linebackers and defensive line. They're going to be good on the perimeter when Diggs comes back. Deron Bland was really good for them last year. And it's about the trenches. It's all about the middle. And for the Cowboys, that means Dak Prescott, his offensive line, and the middle of that defense. That's what they have to focus on, because once they get Dak figured out, everything else will fall into place.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
All right. The Philadelphia Eagles ended up kind of an interesting way after a hot start. They've got 21 unrestricted free agents, but they do have about $20 million in cap space. So let's go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
biggest thing for me, the Eagles, is figuring out the coordinator positions. They lost their offensive and defensive coordinator coming off the Super Bowl to head coaching position. And we saw Shane Steichen in Indianapolis. He's pretty good. We got that team playing even without Anthony Richardson, what they did with Gardner Minshew. There's actually some positivity at the end of the year with Jonathan Gannon and the Cardinals, and we saw the utter collapse of the Eagles at the end of the season. So to me, I'm actually looking at that coaching staff and the decisions they made at offensive and defensive coordinator. They solidified themselves because they were a team last year to DC's point on the free agents because they went veteran route. They're like, we're going to kind of invest a lot right now, get veteran guys in there where this is that moment where you still have a good foundation. Jalen Hurts leading that offense, playmakers in the front seven on defense. Get their coordinators right so you can have a more consistent season.
Is this where Kellen Moore ended up? Where did he end up? Here or Washington? Where'd he go? Because this team baffles me. It baffles me. They were the front runner through 11, 12 weeks in the NFC. And then, I mean, to say fell apart is putting it so lightly. And
yeah, it's Kellen Moore and Vic
Fangio, right? This is where they both went, right? Good. So to say, when you talked about their coordinators, I mean, it feels like they got their coordinators figured out. Vic Fangio's been, I mean, he's been terrific. He was fine in Miami last year. I was surprised they let him go. And Kellen Moore, I think is really good. Now, you guys, how do you feel about Jalen Hurts? Because I think this is as big a piece as anything on their whole team. They got to replace big pieces of their offensive line. I mean, Jason Kelce, right? Yeah. They got to replace a Hall of Fame center. They got to get better on defense. They're going to have to replace whatever they're doing with their running game. I think they draft a running back. I think they'll be in the market for a Saquon or somebody like that. They've got good weapons. How do I feel about Jalen Hurts? He was so good, and then he was so not. Was he hurt? The development there, he didn't just fall off the table, right?
No.
I think they're really good, but they weren't, and it baffles me why they weren't. I'll listen to you a little bit on this one. Well, if you're going to say it's the coordinators, I'll buy it.
They went in late in the season, and they were like, "Oh, Matt Patricia, going to start calling defensive plays." And
what are we doing?
And the fact that they have brand new coordinators both sides of the football, that was a huge thing. Nick Sirianni,
as they do again now.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Like, they got it wrong last year. Yeah. They just did with the coordinators because that's a big point of it. I think Nick Sirianni is one of those guys where, he's more of the raw, like I'll keep, everyone pushing forward. Where he needed those steady coordinators. He didn't have that last year. And when things got late in the season and teams are going through it, the ups and downs, they collapse in on themselves. I still feel really good about Jalen Hurts. Like, his Jalen Hurts in that offense, so Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they're going to make plays. And by the way, they drafted what could be the best defense player in the draft last year, Jalen Carter, so on the defense. So they have the foundational.
Third and goal.
All right, let's take a trip to the Big Apple with the Tommy DeVito-led New York Giants.
Boy, they got some work to do. I love what they did defensively last year. Like when they went into the draft and they got Kayvon Thibodeau and they got better. I think they need to add a few more pieces. I don't know what they're going to be offensively. I know you have no faith in Daniel Jones. He'll be healthy next year. I think they have a quarterback that can make some plays, but you don't know who their running back's going to be, who's their best receiver. I mean, do they have weapons at all? They went out and got Darren Waller and didn't use Darren Waller as a tight end. Darius Slayton, Wendell Robinson, and I don't know what they're trying to do offensively. Like, if you're telling me we're not going to ask Daniel Jones to throw the ball a lot, now we're not going to bring Saquon back, which I don't believe they will. So they're going to have a new running back. I think they're stuck in quicksand offensively. I think they're fine defensively. I wonder what they're going to do offensively because they have an okay quarterback and less than okay weapons.
You mentioned Darren Waller. You brought in a dude that doesn't play a full season. Not on the field. Daniel Jones wasn't on the field. If you're the New York Giants, you're just saying, hey, Brian Daboll, because they made it to the playoffs, was NFL Coach of the Year.
So he got a pass.
And they won a playoff game. And so you look and say, can we just keep Daniel Jones on the field a full season? I'm sure they're feeling the NFC East is there for the taking, because we talk about this division, the way Philadelphia ended, the way people feel about Dak Prescott. Giants, I think, are looking at themselves going, we have a really good head coach that gets the best out of his quarterback, and that quarterback, Daniel Jones, is going to be the key for the New York Giants.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter?
Beer
Hear
me.
me.
I love that. So finally, let's take a trip to the nation's capital to visit the Washington Commanders, who have almost $74 million in cap space right now. This could be very interesting.
There's only one. Doesn't matter what free agents you bring in, who you're paying. It's
who's your quarterback.
Are you going to get it right between Drake May, from North Carolina, and Jaden Daniels, quarterback from LSU, the Heisman Trophy winner? That's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what cornerback, what right guard you sign in free agency. It's Drake May versus Jaden Daniels. Who wins that battle in your scouting department?
I think he's right. Dan Quinn's the new coach. He's going to come in. I got to believe their defense will be better. They got rid of so many of their key parts. I mean, when Chase Young went to San Francisco, I'm like, what are we doing here? They've got two good receivers in McLaurin and Dotson. They've got a nice running back. I think their offensive line's okay. They're going to have a young quarterback, and they're going to struggle, go through young quarterback hiccups. And it's going to be a tough year for Washington. And let's see. But they've got look, with the new ownership group, I got to believe they're going to be a little bit more patient because they hired this guy. This is their guy. If they win 5-6 games next year, they're going to consider themselves on track. You think I'm wrong with that?
No, because they're going to have a rookie quarterback that's starting. And that's what it comes down to, is do you believe in Jaden Daniels or Drake May? This, to me, I really like these top three quarterbacks. You can talk yourself into really any of these three over the other one. I'm not, sold that Caleb Williams is leaps and bounds better than these guys, but all three of these guys should be the first three picks when you look at what the teams need.
All right, 505-246-0610. You got a bunch on court storming. Lydia says court storming used to be fun. Today it's dangerous. Kids today don't care. Don't care if they hurt someone or not. She's right. I got a bunch more for you on that. Kenny's going to be here. I wonder what Kenny Thomas thinks about court storming.
I bet he has some opinions.
I'll bet he does. He has opinions on most things. We'll talk to Kenny, the former Lobo great and 11-year NBA veteran, at 9. He'll be in studio for Kicking It with Kenny. I'll get you your thoughts more on the court storming stuff because you're coming in pretty big when we come back. The number's growing. International Protective Service, IPS, has hundreds of homeowners and business owners who trust them in Albuquerque and Santa Fe to watch their property, to install alarms and cameras, to monitor their property both 24 hours and just to come by on a regular basis. Reality is police aren't coming for hours after a break-in, even if they come at all. In most cases, IPS is there in 7 minutes or less. You travel, you're gone, you go to work, you're not there all the time. Nothing's worse than coming home and finding you've been a victim of a break-in. You've seen IPS at Targets, Walmarts, retail outlets. They're making a difference for those stores, and they can help you too. They've helped me for years. They've helped my neighbors. I trust them, and you can as well. IPS has a team watching video cameras, monitoring alarms around the clock. They'll secure your home, secure your business, and cameras are known to discourage criminal activity. Your home's supposed to be a place of security. If someone breaks in, it's devastating for that sense of security. And it's a fact that homes that are protected are far less likely to be homes targeted by the bad guys. Call IPS at 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420 or online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque a better and safer place to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet? Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space, and you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area.
Does just take one. This is an interesting take, though. But there have been thousands of court storms and no one has been injured. There have been no incidents. The only incidents are the losing team being pissed off about it. The losing team isn't pissed off about the court storm. And your point's right. It's the same point I made about the handshake line. There have been thousands of court storms where there is no incident involving somebody from the opposing team or the visiting team getting hurt until there are. The last JJ, his point's not wrong. There have been hundreds, if not thousands, of them that have been just fine and no incident. It's more than just the losing team being pissed off about it. Losing team is fine if they can get to the locker room with all their players not injured.
That is. Yes, you have to still be aware of it. Because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it won't. And you just want to put the student athletes in the best place, because that's tough. When you see these videos, like, yeah, they can get out of there, but you have these guys isolated with hundreds of people around. That's what we're talking about.
And you're right. And I use that example all the time on the handshake line. Why do we do the handshake line if they're going to fight? We got thousands of them that are fine. There's isolated incidents. And you're right. This is isolated incident. It happened to be two of the highest profile programs and players in college basketball. Caitlin Clark got bumped around and had to be helped off the court. She's the biggest star in college, men's or women's basketball right now. She's the name everybody knows. There's not one men's basketball player everybody knows about right now. Hell, the show before us
definitely not one from the West Coast.
Talked about Jaden Ledee, and the host was like, why are we talking about that? Because you're an East Coast biased. No, honestly. I mean, if it's San Diego State or Fresno State, I mean, who cares? Give me something I care. Just give me Duke or Kansas. This one says court storm is cool until someone gets hurt, plain and simple. And that's kind of what the conversation. But it's a really good point. Are we making too much about it because two people kind of got hurt when it's been going on for years? And I think the issue is I think people have become more emboldened. That's all. I think people used to try to avoid players and not hurt the other team, and now they don't give a damn if you're in my way. Although, when I look at these incidents, it's people not looking and they bounced off each other. I don't know that anything was deliberate. All right, when we get back, you need to hear this sound. Kenyon Martin was a good player in the NBA. He went off on one of the NBA's, is it fair to say, great coaches? George Karl had a really good career, never won an NBA title, but was a longtime coach. Sonics and Nuggets, and I mean, it was really good. Boy, and it's bleep-filled now. Kmart went off on him because, well, he went off on Carmelo. You got to hear this sound, and it's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican.
I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter,
they didn't make.
Happens to Duke, and Jay Billis wants to arrest kids and send them to the Siberian gulag. At least they won't have to pay their student loans. This is the easiest problem to solve. Set up ropes / cones or something. Get SEC police with the big brim hats to escort players Nick Saban style. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Spend an extra $5,000 per home game in a game with court storming potential. That's from Jim. All right, you got to hear this. You guys are Nuggets people. So this started out, Kenyon Martin used to play for the Nuggets. George Karl used to coach the Nuggets. George Karl came over from Seattle and kind of went into Carmelo Anthony for a while. So basically, Carmelo, you're not great, right? And I guess he went after Carmelo on some podcast or something this week. Is that where this all started from?
Nope.
How did it start?
Because George Karl wished Nikola Jokic happy birthday. You're the best player wearing number 15 in Nuggets history.
He's not wrong, is he? That's how this started?
But there was
Carmelo wore 15 as well.
Simmering beef between Karl and Carmelo.
Okay. Because Karl used to tell him you're not great.
Carmelo Anthony is saying that when George Karl got to Denver, he said Detlef Schrempf is a better basketball player than him.
Okay. All right.
And I guess that really rubbed Carmelo Anthony the wrong way.
All right. Do you guys have a beef with Nikola Jokic? They both wore number 15, Carmelo and Jokic. Who's the best player to wear 15? I mean,
the dude that won an NBA championship.
All right. Kenyon Martin was on a podcast, somebody's podcast yesterday, and he went off on George Karl.
Like, no, it ain't fucking about you, dude. It's not. It's not about George. It's about the players, man. Like, you benefited from us, from our talent. Just, I said it then, like, when this first came out. If you think he overrated and we such bad people and bad basketball players and this, that, and the third, forfeit them fucking wins. Forfeit them. Because we such bad people. How we get to the playoffs every year? Wasn't because of you, dude. We made the playoffs it wasn't because of you. Talent got us there. We got there in despite of you. Like, you were a handicap to us. If we had a different coach, we win a championship. You were handicapping us because you think you more important than us. No, dude. And for you to be still going, whoever's writing it. And I don't want to keep going it because I could take this to a whole different place. But it'll be ugly of me.
Oh, because that was pretty. All right, you guys live this. This is your guys' beat. Is Kenyon Martin right?
That is such a tough one because they did go on a run. I mean, would they go 10 years in a row? Is that right, JJ? Playoffs?
Yeah, they had that. They were in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers.
Yeah,
and that was kind of the year. Then after that, it's when it started to turn, and then Carmelo was traded to the Knicks.
So did they not win a championship because George Karl was their coach?
So there's one thing that always sticks with me because I was a season ticket holder through a lot of this, actually. Their GM, Masai Ujiri, who ended up with the Raptors, they would not pay him over $2 million. They had this hard cap for executives. They wouldn't go over a certain number. And I think had they been more flexible about paying the people who are running the team, we can go back and say what if, but I feel like if there's a little more flexibility, that could have gone a long way.
All right, I want to bring this up with Kenny. Kenny Thomas will be here in a little bit. We'll kick it with Kenny. I want to hear what he has to say. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. What's up?
For Lobo fans, the sky hasn't fallen in. I mean, things happen. Don't get discouraged. We win 3 games, we're in. So, I mean, it was a tough call yesterday. Everybody calling in right away, want to fire coaches and want to, bench players. Oh, it's just win 3 games and it's over. But on a brighter note, I don't know. I haven't heard it announced anywhere, but Saturday there is a New Mexico trainer who won the biggest race in the world in Saudi Arabia. And, Jeff, no coverage nowhere. I guess, nobody said anything about it, but the purse was $20 million, Saudi Arabia. His name is Todd Fincher. You look it up. And, I mean, Baffert was in the race, and it's an international race. Horses from Japan, everywhere. and it was run Saturday.
Yeah, Mike.
And,
I'll look it up and find it.
Look it up and check it out, and that's a brighter note, for New Mexico, the 505.
All about it.
Okay.
All right, man. Thanks.
Okay, later.
$20 million purse? I mean, I don't know what that's worth to you, but that sounds pretty good. All right, Kenny will be here, kicking it with Kenny, the former Lobo great, Kenny Thomas, 11-year NBA veteran. Look back, look forward on Lobo basketball, get into some of the NBA stuff as well, because, I don't know, his Kings got beat at home yesterday. Wemby's on a roll, and so are the Nuggets. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep.
When you're a big dog, you roll in when you want, you sit down. If I get here a little bit, right, or like this time, right on time. This is Kicking It with Kenny Thomas. Look at it. He's all burricade out, too. Like, you got the United's hat going on.
Yes, sir. March 9th, opening day.
He's a soccer guy. He's a hoops guy. How you living? Kenny Thomas, a former Lobo great. The 11-year NBA veteran. The man about burrique. You're all everything. What's up, dude?
Man, I'm all you.
Hi,
too,
Kenny Thomas.
JJ. Even you, DC.
Good to see you, Kenny Thomas.
What's up, my people?
How was your show on Saturday after the game?
Oh, Lord. See, I knew you were going to jump right into that crap.
And by the way, our phones are working now. We don't have to call people back. We had to do that yesterday, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I was like, how come we can't go over here to Jeff's and JJ's studio?
No, it's work. They were out. How was
I
your
heard
show?
you taking calls.
Yeah, well,
See-
DC was calling people back.
See, you still coming. See, you still asking about Saturday.
Well, I mean, where
I'm
else are we
trying
gonna
to
go,
avoid
man?
that.
There's no avoiding it. You know, so here, let me read you this email because it's actually really interesting.
JJ, I'm really trying to avoid
This says Lobo Hobo says the South Carolina primary equals Lobo basketball. You're like, wait, what?
What?
It says yesterday the talking heads were screaming at me that the guy that won South Carolina, Trump, didn't win by enough. If True makes that last second shot, you beat that club by 1. Are Lobo fans really feeling better about themselves this morning? Does it change how they looked for 39 minutes and 58 seconds? And the answer is abso-freaking-lutely yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
totally agree with you. That game, I don't know if you remember me saying this. I was scared about that game. I really was. And this is when it goes back to the San Diego State game. I wanted them to win that game. That was a must win that they
The one
could
on
have.
the road.
Yeah, the one on the road in San Diego, which they could have stole for a situation like this.
So
right?
the banks you this.
So yeah, because they had that game, and obviously you're not supposed to lose at home. Like this was a huge letdown for the city, for the Lobos, for Patino, the coaching staff. You notice Patino didn't even want to talk to Rob and Hunter, right?
You tell the difference.
And Hunter asked a question about like House, why he wasn't in the game. He totally ignored that, and he went to a
Fair
whole different
question, isn't
direction,
it?
right? And people were trying to ask us, but we had the situation with the phones and everything. But once again, it's going to be, these last 3 games are going to be tough. You can't even overlook Fresno.
So
Fresno
you
State.
sat right here when JJ was in Boise last week, and you and I both agreed. And I said to you, I think it's going to be a tough first half. It's a perfect trap game coming
Yep.
off the emotional win. Boise in front of you. This team's 1-12. They're not very good. It's going to be a close first half. They're going to pull away and win by 12. That's what I thought.
See, I was scared. Yeah. And I was scared of that. And keep in mind, you got to realize that Air Force team, that Falcons team, was second in the league in 3-point shooting.
Yep.
And then the fact that how you saw how you saw Air Force play our backcourt on the perimeter, I felt like it was in between. Like they were daring them to shoot the shot, but you could not feed the post. So at the same time, the way Nelly and JT got going, they went 8 for 13. And Nelly had like 3 offensive rebounds, right?
Yep.
I felt like this was a game to where they could have capitalized with pounding the ball inside. And then if the ball ended up working its way back out on the perimeter, I felt like it would have been a different story.
I do want to touch on kind of that point of the email Jeff read. What's the difference? You win by 1. How do you feel? You feel fantastic because that's sport, right?
Yeah.
You have the expectation of, hey, we want to go blow this team out, but you find yourself in the moment, right? Maybe the game's not going that way. And that's what I look at is you're up 5 with 4.5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe you're not up double digits, but that's when you want to find a way to win a game like.
Yeah, because you're up, right? So basically you slow down the tempo, you change the aspect to where the aspect of your game, which is to get out and run. Now you're playing Air Force game. Slow the ball up. But what people were talking about that 3 at the end of the game, right? It wasn't, you should have played the perimeter tighter and gave them a 2. That changed the whole narrative of the game. I don't.
Did you watch that play? We've watched it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
broke it down so many times. You got a guard. It came off like it was a double pick, but almost like like Dent got picked by Toppin.
Yeah.
And so the guard comes loose to the bucket for the inbounds layup. Toppin's got to go get him.
Yeah.
And then he's got to fight all the way to the top. One guy kicks to the corner. That's where they get the inbounds.
Yeah.
Petritis goes out. He's wide open. It was a really nicely drawn up play.
I feel like in that moment, this is where people are saying Patino should have changed it up or went to a zone at one point, like teams are going into a zone, like the Utah States and the other teams that played a slower pace, going 1-3-1, which is changing up the whole dynamic of the
Colorado State
Lobos.
did it
Yeah,
too.
Colorado State did it too because they're forcing UNM to basically shoot on the perimeter. Just because they're giving it to you doesn't mean you have to take it. And back to your question, I feel like why not switch everything outside of Nelly, right? I don't remember if Nelly was in the game.
He was. He's
but-
the one who went out to the corner to get. He guarded the inbound pass.
And at the same time, if you switch everything, that eliminates the communication because it's loud in there. You have a lot of energy going. Maybe switch. I probably would have switched.
He's Kenny Thomas. He's in studio. We're kicking it with Kenny Thomas.
And this is exactly what Richard Pino and his coaching staff are going back through right now. Is looking at how they defended that inbound because they were in man and they weren't switching it because that's the whole point. Dent was chasing it. He got picked off, and then play develops off of that.
Yeah. I'll tell you when and again I coach at a way different level, right? It's AAU level. It's totally different. But we used to, and Mike Danoff, who I thought was a brilliant coach, 90% of the time on inbounds play where we go zone, because it avoids you from getting lost in those.
Yep. And then that's a great call. 2-3 zone.
Yeah.
Is ideal. You can even probably go 3-2 if they have a.
It just avoided you getting lost in those picks coming through.
Exactly, but at the because you're designated in a zone, you're designated to play a certain area.
But it's different. I don't.
But at the same time, switch.
Yeah.
You switch everything. It doesn't matter. See, but hold on. This isn't a Patino thing.
I agree with
this. This isn't an all Patino thing. So we need to just cut that out right now. Because this man has come here and changed the whole dynamic of Lobo basketball in the last couple of years. And now we want to point a finger.
No, we don't. We don't.
I'm saying the people that are listening or in general, don't point the finger at Patino. They all had a hand in that loss, and it should not have happened.
Now, you know where this is going to go in the next 2 weeks. It's going to go one way or the other, right? If they don't make the tournament, it's going to be pointed at Richard because where this team was. I mean, you just know how it is. In that, you've been around a long time. I've been here a minute or two. People were telling me it's the worst conference home loss ever. And I'm like, whoa, dude, ever's a long time. And then I'm not sure I could think of, when you think of how much was on the line at home through that team with what was on the line. I want you to put it in perspective because remember, they're not done. They're still in everybody's bracket. Yeah. They still have a lot of opportunity in front of them. But I'm struggling finding a worse home conference loss.
Last time Air Force won here was 2007.
Yeah, Richie McKay's team.
Yeah. And going down to Air Force, that's one of those real trap games, right? It's boring to play down there. I think I've even lost down there.
Yeah.
But you did not come home. But you don't come home and not. Nice shot, Jeff. You don't come home and not take care of home court, man. And then you're trying to establish Lobo basketball back to the identity that it's known for, which is having every game packed out. I mean, sold out, but that's what I know, right? And then in the last couple of years, you're getting these primetime games, and the Lobos are in a primetime position, and they're working themselves up back into the fold as far as being a dominant Division I program, right? And the fact that Albuquerque is this small community that doesn't get the recognition, or the state doesn't get the recognition that it's supposed to, the Lobos still have a chance. That's the nice thing about this game.
Here, yes.
Now, if it was the last game of the season, JJ, it would be a totally different dynamic because you're going into the Mountain West Conference and you have to win the tournament. They have. It's going to be crazy. Boise State is second, 9-4 in conference. They play great at home. It's going to be a fight this coming weekend. And then you got Utah State. Come on, man. That's ranked in the top 20 right now.
Might not want to forget about Fresno State after what just happened.
Oh, Jesus.
Kenny Thomas, he's in studio.
Which has a better record than Air Force.
Well, and this is one that it's what happens after this will determine what this game means. Because they have two gigantic road opportunities to add to the resume.
Bro, they gotta have some good practices this week.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Emotions, because fans ride it differently.
Oh, they weren't prepared.
Yeah. So as a player, as a coach, how do you get to that point? Because I've seen it firsthand. I felt it last week. You're on the road with the women. It was a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Boise hits a three. It's like 12 seconds left.
Yeah.
The bus ride that night, it's quiet. No one's talking. But you come back the next day, and you got to have the energy. You got to have the focus. How do you get to that mindset as an athlete where you're not riding, the waves of emotion that everyone else is?
Well, sports is an emotional thing, and it's how you bounce back and how you reflect on how you came prepared for that game. Admitting to yourself you need to do some better things. You could have done a lot of things better. It comes down to preparation. They got to have a great week this week. Boise State is a squad that has dominated from a standpoint of at home, and the way that this conference is going right now, it's kind of like anything can happen. With the Lobos being in 6th place right now, it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. But they've had quite a few chances to establish themselves, and I feel like they still can, but they got to take it one game at a time.
All right, here's what I got. One more before we break. Two lines open at 505-243. No, that's the other one. 246-0610. We'll get to your calls after this break because people want to talk about Lobo basketball. One last thing before we go to break. You brought up House, and again, it's a coach's decision. People were telling us yesterday that they saw body language that Patino at one point asked him to come in. He's like, "Why now?" There is a video at 34 seconds with him walking to report and Patino waving him back to the bench. Richard said, "Look, I'm paraphrasing. He's our engine. We win with him. We know that they lose a lot of games without him. I'm not going to lie, man. There were from the about 6-minute mark on. I'm like, where's House? When is he going to put him in? That's the one where I'm going to go back and go. I would have liked to see House in.
Yeah, I mean." You got to keep in mind, House had 4 fouls.
That's fine. He still has 4. He didn't foul out yet.
And I totally agree with you. From the standpoint, JJ's laughing.
I'm not wrong, right? Yeah. Like Pete Gillis says on TV, you're gonna be the richest. You're gonna be the richest guy in the graveyard, Connor. Like he still has one to give.
Let me finish, even though it's your show. House should have been in the game, but at the same time, you don't know what happened or what was going on. You probably knew I was gonna say that. Only Patino and that bench and House knows really what happened and what was going on. I've heard things about him being hurt. I saw the whole interaction, what you just explained. You never know. Like House could have been like, "Hey, leave Chu in," and there was a yeah. You're looking at me like I'm crazy with opening your eyes like they're big like mine or something. But
I am.
There was a nice run there to where True,
yes,
and the momentum shifted, right? But then you got to put House back in. But you never know what happened.
True was good. He was also 1 for 8. I get it. House was 3 for 11. True
See, but the whole dynamic of the shift of the game, I saw it. It shifted, but still at the same time,
and then it shifted back.
And then that's when you make that's when you bring him in.
That's all I'm saying. Kenny
Thomas,
when
you bring him in.
We're kicking it with Kenny. We'll take your phone calls when we get back at 505-246-0610 on the opening drive. Jeff Sabieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The Mountain West is red hot.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
Young lady. Laugh with me, people. I'm sorry, ladies out there. I didn't mean it like that. Please forgive me.
She's balling though.
Yeah. Oh man. Hey man. I be popping her in my story on Instagram. She been killing freshman. Freshman player of the week? How many times now?
Well, Nia Wilson is a junior.
Which one's the freshman that's balling out?
They don't have a freshman.
Okay, you don't gotta
JT
call me
Toppin.
out like that, JJ. I'm all over the place right now.
Yeah, but they're,
JT Toppin?
they're balling, and you got the Aztecs are in tomorrow. How come you don't play a day game against Seattle? Lobo women tomorrow night at the Pit right here on the Sports Animal. JJ will crack the mic with the pregame show at
Good luck,
6:30
ladies.
and go at 7. All right, you want to take some calls?
Yes, sir.
Mike wants to talk Mountain West basketball. Mike, you're on the Sports Animal with Kenny Thomas.
Hey, it looks like we're breaking up a little bit. I'm between Santa Fe and Albuquerque. We'll try to make this work. Hey, I wanted to talk about the monies in the NCAA and how we're getting more teams in, and how can some of that money get turned into the Lobos or the Mountain West teams to keep them strong, or actually do something special with this Mountain West teams and leagues. So, but first, I'd like to throw something out there. Kenny, it's great to have you on the show. You add quite a bit to the morning show when you come on and your after game show, post game show. But what I'd like to ask is, they're really letting our players bang. I mean, is that going to set us up for the NCAA type of play and officiating? Number one. Number two is we're missing a lot of those bunnies, but I think the guys are getting hit as they're going up. And if you can, in this league, if you can't make under pressure, if you can't get banged up and still make a bunny, you're going to be basically not scoring like we are.
Right
not
on, Mike.
scoring
No,
in
Mike,
the last two games.
Appreciate you, and we'll answer off the air. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for calling in. As far as the NCAA and the money coming here, I can't answer
I'll
that.
get there.
It's this is a Jeff question. But on the other hand, you know, there's one of those key components when you got a freshman that's playing unbelievable ball, and JT addressed after the UNLV game that UNLV was physical, and he anticipated it being a physical game when UNLV came in here in the Pit. Establishing yourself in the paint is one of those things to where I feel like the Lobos need to get stronger. Nelly and JT obviously need to get stronger. But it is going to get physical down the stretch, and it is getting them ready for the NCAA tournament, because the tournament is a different beast. They allow you to play, and then at the same time, depending on your seeding, there's usually favoritism to a certain extent on who's going to win.
Let me give you the units are paid out. So over 6 years in NCAA basketball units. You get them for 6 years, and they stay with the conference. And so the last number I see is 2022. So this is 2 years ago. Each unit, each round you went, each game you played was worth $339,000.
Okay, got you.
All right. And so then it's paid out to the conference, the participating school. There's a 6-year shelf life, meaning one unit is worth $2,033,000 overall. The payouts were split evenly amongst the 11 schools. So it's up to Mike. It's up to each school how they invest that money, right? When they get that money, they say, "All right, well, that's good. We got to go pay off our football coach."
Yeah.
Or we got to go pay off some debt. Or are we investing in a basketball? How do you make it better? It's up to each institution how they're going to utilize that revenue that comes in.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
I mean, which makes sense, and I'm pretty sure, hopefully, that those funds are being used in the right situation, right, to where it's going to better the student athletes to be able to perform at a high level.
Miguel, you're on the Sports Animal with Kenny Thomas. Good morning, Miguel.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I was listening to a podcast this week with Fran Priscillo, and he was talking about mid majors that he liked and being eligible for the NCAA tournament. He was big on the Mountain West. He thinks it could get 4 to 5 teams in there. He mentioned UNM as one of those teams. I'm looking at UNM's schedule. They got 2 road games left, and they're tough road games, both at Boise State and then Utah State, and sandwiched between those is Fresno at home. How important is it for the Lobos to finish strong with this tough of a schedule? And do you think they'd have to probably maybe get it to the semifinal of the Mountain West Conference to really have a good chance to make the NCAA tournament if they don't finish strong?
Thanks for calling in. I actually saw Franchella when I coached the TBT team, the New Mexico team, the first one in Virginia. I love Fran. Fran is a great coach and a great person. When it comes down to these last 3 games, you got the 2 top teams in conference. You got Utah State, that's number 1, like 10-3, and then you got Boise State, that's like 9-4. And Fresno State's playing way better basketball than Air Force, so the Lobos got them at home. It's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. I feel like the Lobos definitely have to win out the next 3 games to help their situation against Quad 1 teams, right? And I feel like those 2 teams are in that category. But I feel like before the Air Force loss, I felt like the Lobos had to at least win the first game in the Mountain West Conference. Now I feel like they got to win.
Well, they got to get now. If they're going to play on Wednesday,
they win out, they're a lock.
Yeah,
it's guaranteed at Boise State at Utah State.
All right, if they win out, they're a lock. If they lose out, well, if they go 1-2, they may need to get to Friday. Okay, if they go 2-1, I think they're in. Okay, if they win let's just assume they beat Fresno State, please. I mean, I thought they were going to beat Air Force, and you can't assume anything. But in this scenario, if they go 2-1, they beat Fresno State, they win at Boise State or Utah State. They get another Quad 1 win. I think they're in. If they go 1-2, I think they got to get to Friday. They got to get to the semifinal of the conference tournament. I think it's going to be. And look, it really depends on what everybody else on the bubble is doing. I think if they go 2-1, they're in. I think if they go 1-2, they're teetering.
And you know what's so crazy? They can win the whole Mountain West Conference.
Well, sure they can.
But it depends on who.
The tournament.
The Mountain West tournament. Yeah. I think it's going to come down to matchups and where they end up being seated, right? And there's some teams out there, UNLV and a couple other teams that are longer that can totally change the dynamic.
Could you make the case that 7 teams could win this, or do you think it's smaller? Like, could you make a case for Nevada? Could you make a case for
Vegas,
UNLV? Like,
yes. Yes, I really do. I really do. I really, really do. And I agree with Fran. Like, as far as the Mountain West Conference, I figure there's going to be at least 4 or 5 teams in.
I think they're going to get 4 to 5 too. Where you stand right now, and again, there's 3 games to go and 4 for the other teams. So a lot will change. But as it stands now, you play on Wednesday against San Jose State in the play-in game. And if you win that game, you play San Diego State in the quarterfinal. That's how it is right now.
Yeah.
Now things will move because San Diego State is a half game behind Boise State. And so there's 1 game at hand still. So things will move around a little bit. That's where you're. I don't know who you want to avoid. I mean, do you want to avoid UNLV because you've lost twice? Do you want to avoid San Diego State? You're playing someone, if you get to Thursday, the quarterfinals, you're playing someone top.
So if they lose all 3, who would they play?
They lose. Well, it depends where they drop to. They'll probably drop below Colorado State, and so they would probably drop to 7. They would play Air Force in the first round, and then whoever finishes second.
See, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not just saying it's going to happen. Hey, this is radio talk.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's a lot of ifs. I get all the ifs. Look, if you get to Thursday is going to be a fantastic day at this tournament.
There's nothing easy.
No, look,
I totally agree.
I have no desire even to go over to the Pac-12 on Thursday. I think Thursday with the 8 teams that are left in the Mountain West, I think you're going to get 4 great games.
Yeah, I totally agree. I actually agree with you. Yeah, you see, I had to add that.
What do we do? Hey, do you want to do this real quick? You got a quick time for this?
Yeah, whatever you. Come on,
Did
man.
you hear Kenyon Martin go off on George Carlin?
I heard you guys. I was in the parking lot listening to the show. I listen to the show when I'm driving.
Which one did you want Kenny to hear, DC? Because I know was
I heard King and Martin.
Well, there's another one though. Which one did you want him to hear? Play the one you want. This is Kenyon Martin on George Karl.
How can a guy that was in the third pick in the draft that
talk about Melo
should have won Rookie of the Year, that led his team to the playoffs as a rookie, you come in his second year? How is that guy overrated when you get there?
Yeah, that's
these are facts, bro.
That's what
I was. This is real time, dog. I was there, so you ain't got to look that shit up, Gil. I was there.
Okay.
Right?
Just looking like
no, I was there.
How good was Melo? And did you ever have an interaction with George Karl?
No. Never had an interaction with George Karl. I guarded King and Martin. A lot of interaction there.
Yeah.
I've guarded Melo a little bit too. A lot of interaction there. I agree with him.
With Kenny Martin.
Yeah, Melo's the man. Like Kevin Durant just passed Melo of like being 30, and I think Kevin Durant's like I think Melo is like 20 and Kevin Durant's like 19 or something like that, whatever it is.
On the all-time
as far
list.
as all-time list. That man was a beast. He's the ultimate bucket go-getter outside of Jamal Crawford, right? He's one of those type guys. And the fact that he did not get that, George Karl, I've heard stories about it. But back then, it was a totally different situation as far as coaches. Coaches were legends then. Coaches then, like Larry Brown, like that coached me, like that's legendary, right? George Karl with Gary Payton and Deadlift Shrimp and Sean Kemp and those
Sam
guys,
Perkins,
right? So, I mean, it's a different game at the time, but he's done now, but Kenyon Martin's always been a guy that's always voiced his opinion, right?
100%.
Always.
Ever since he was at Cincinnati,
Always.
college, and all the way through.
He reminds me of a Ron Artest who I played with.
Yeah, there's a lot there. All right.
Meta. My bad, Meta. Don't
That's
get mad at me.
No Kenny post game this week unless you're going to do the ladies game tonight.
We got to wait till Saturday.
All right. He's back here on this show on Friday. We'll kick it with Kenny then. What do you got going on?
Albertsons, Tramway, KT Legacy Wines are there. I'm going to start doing some appearances up there at Albertsons, an academy, looking at doing some more appearances at 2 more Albertsons in Santa Fe. They're coming. Follow me on Instagram or my social media in general, Kenny Thomas NBA. Stay tuned. I got a lot of basketball stuff coming and a lot of partnerships coming, and I'll be posting all that stuff.
All right. Well, we'll catch you on Friday next week. And, of course, we're going to be at the Mountain West Conference Tournament. The opening drive will be there. JJ's going in with the ladies. I'll get in there. We'll be there all week. The show will come to you live from Las Vegas. It's coming up in 2 weeks from basically now.
Yeah.
We'll be there for the tournament. Want to say thank you to the partners who make sure that we are there. Coleman Vision, perfect game. Airport parking, easier, quicker, smarter. Enchanted Mechanical, the heating and cooling doctor. And Frontier Restaurant, an Albuquerque tradition for over 50 years. When we come back, what you have to say about all that. Appreciate Kenny spending some time with us and whatever's going on this morning. There are some headlines today as well. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Center.
The madness is coming.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up. Okay, thank you.
Get into the sink on the offense. Here's Renfro. Renfro throws up a wild one and scores.
So turning potential lemons into lemonade is Archuleta. Steverson pulls up from deep. Are you kidding?
He's going to go up with it. No good. Too strong. Loose ball. Going to get kicked right into the hands of Jackson. Here comes Mitchell. Mitchell puts that one in. A little bit of a baby dunk, but
Drive, looking to spin. Blocked from behind by Creighton Johnson. 3-on-2 for Sandia. Thomas Adams goes all the way, and he's fouled.
So many factors on it, but things you look at: true road wins, what you do against other tournament teams, and those are two potential tournament teams that would have you at that point in time you'd be over 500 versus potential tournament teams that are going in. The road wins,
I think they would oversee those.
I do think that they would be very confident about themselves, but there's multiple scenarios. There's not one answer to the question. We had the caller say, hey, what if this? Well, you say, all right, what if they go 1-2, they win versus Fresno State, lose those two games? Well, then they probably need to get to Friday and have one or two good neutral court wins on their resume. If they go 2-1 and somehow pick off a game at Boise State or Utah State, then even going in and getting one win in Mountain West might be good enough. But so many things are going to change on a daily basis.
Yep.
That's why you have to play so many what-if scenarios.
This one says, and I apologize for not seeing this before Kenny left. He says, ask Kenny what he thinks about putting Air Force on the free throw line on the last defensive possession. I'm pretty sure I know what Kenny would have said. I mean, you're not putting them on the free throw line to tie you up. You get a stop, you just don't allow a three. Right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure I know where he goes with that. Bruce is in on the email machine. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com or JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. It says, Jeff, the reason the Flyboys loss is going to hurt Lobo basketball is they don't have that signature win outside your league to offset it. Lobo fans yesterday were back to resorting to putting lipstick on UC Irvine. We hadn't heard that in a while. What's UC Irvine's net? Any idea? I'll tell you here. Because that, you know what's crazy about that? That or Louisiana Tech is going to be your best
root for Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
I don't.
UC Irvine is 80 in the net.
and Louisiana Tech is 82. Those are your two best non-conference wins. Well, but yes, that's where they're going with that.
Irvine is one you look at. La Tech absolutely be rooting for those teams. But this is also where I know it frustrates people, but like, why do they like San Diego State? Why do they like Colorado State? That's a good thing. You want them to like those teams. That helps you. You need those quad one opportunities in Mountain West play. That's why there's still a talk of 4 to 6 teams potentially getting it.
Mark Ziegler, the San Diego Union Tribune, wrote a story this week about one of the secrets to San Diego State's computer success. They don't have any bad losses. There just aren't any. They didn't, and UNLV might not be a horrible loss, and it's not horrible, but you lost to them twice. Is that quad 2 or quad 3 now? They're in at 81. So the home loss was a quad 3, right? A quad 2. San Diego State doesn't have any bad losses. That's why the computers like them. They may have 7 losses overall, and I know some of you are like, why the computers like them so much, but their losses were to BYU, who's really good. Grand Canyon, you're like, whatever. That's it was a road team, and it's a good team. They lost at the Pit. They lost at Colorado State. They lost at Nevada. They lost at Utah State. They took care of all that. They don't lose to Air Force or Fresno State or San Jose State at home. They don't have any of that. And by the way, they don't lose to Boise State at home. They're the only undefeated home team still in this league. That's the reason. I know some of you asked me about Colorado State the other day. Why do the computers love Colorado State? And really, that's kind of what it comes down to is there's no bad losses on it.
That's a good thing. This is one where I was a Lobo fan, like, don't be upset about that. That's a positive because that's bringing you up. The Lobos are still 26th in the net, even after losing to Air Force. Then they have these opportunities because Boise State and Utah State have been successful in Mountain West play, and these teams have kept their ratings up high. We're seeing how good the basketball is and just how wild these swings are. So it's a positive. Don't be frustrated that they like Colorado State and San Diego State so much. You need them to like Colorado State and San Diego State, the teams that you've beaten, Utah State, to elevate yourself as well.
This is from David. He said, I'm sorry about Kenny being out before I got to this. Talking about bad pit losses, ask Kenny if he remembers the 16th ranked Lobos losing by about 20 to a 9-win BYU team in late February of 98, finishing the season with 3 losses in a row. They rebounded and finished strong. It can happen. Aggie, it's crazy yesterday. Yesterday was an interesting day to me on this program because you, Lobo fan was beating up Lobo fan. It was Aggie fan who kind of came in and lifted you up a little bit. It reminded you that the Aggies 2 seasons ago, and Chris Jansen's last year, lost 2 years ago. Yesterday was the date, to a Chicago State team that barely was keeping the doors open on their program, didn't have enough air to put in the basketball. They couldn't afford the air. I'm kidding. Right? And went there and remember what the sky was. Remember Lobo fan clowning them about their crappy league and their crappy team. And that was the year they went on and beat UConn in the NCAA tournament. They won the WAC tournament, and that was a good Aggie team. That was a really good Aggie team. But they lost to a horrible team. Now, granted, on the road, not at home. And then they turned things around. You've got opportunity in front of you. And this is the whole sky is falling thing. There's no sugarcoating your loss. JJ, there's nothing. Yeah, but no. You lost to a 1-12 team that was on a 7-game skid, who hadn't won your building in 14 years. They came in and beat you as 18.5-point underdog. Like there's no redeeming. But at the end of the game, their coach, stop. It shouldn't have been there. But the thing is, it didn't kill your season unless you let it. You've got 2 really good opportunities, 3 games in front of you, plus a conference tournament. You still control your own NCAA tournament.
And, kind of going back to the point of, you want to pump up a UC Irvine, a La Tech, if those teams get into the tournament, because that is one of the things they talk about is record versus other tournament teams. So when they're putting that bracket together, and if La Tech gets in, because they're a conference champ, UC Irvine gets in because they're a conference champ, that's a benefit. And I miscounted yesterday, and I brought it up and I put it out there. Lobos are 6-4, where they're 7-4
against tournament teams.
against.
Who'd you forget, Irvine?
Yeah, but it's a snapshot of the moment. So I was looking at the bracket, and Jerry Palm is on CBS Sports is updating his bracket daily, and that's what you
Has
do.
Lenardi updated his yet?
And so why the Lobos still have an opportunity is because they're 7-4 against potential tournament teams. They have the opportunities on the road where you have to find a way to get one of them.
Lenardi's got him as
so hard.
last 4 bye. Like, I think he's got them as the last bye.
And this is bubble life. Avoid pointy objects. Air Force was a pointy object.
Koch.
Close.
He's got him playing as a 10 seed playing BYU in the first round.
Woo!
You'd love that.
Go.
Although they're good.
BYU.
They're really good. But you would, right? Would that get you fired up? You've got everything in front of you. And that's really kind of what it comes down to. You've got this opportunity. You've lost your margin of error. To Mud's question, would they, if they lose to Fresno State and win at Boise State and in Logan, against Utah State, would they get in? I think so. How about not losing 4 of your last 5 home games? Because right now they've lost 3 out of the last 4. How about taking care of business on senior night and taking care of Fresno State, going out and get this thing done? And I'm telling you this, if they win one of the 2 on the road and beat Fresno State, I think they're in. Certainly if they get to Friday of the conference tournament, and I mean, that would be 1, 2 more losses and 1, 2, 3, 4 more wins. JJ, they'd be what, 20? What are they now, 21? So they'd be 25-9. I think a date, but I think they're in. 505-246-0610. Everything you got to know as you go through your Tuesday, the breaking news from today, and there is some this position as well. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Network.
This
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
Going through the garage, cleaning out. Don't forget your vehicle. It is your second, probably your second biggest investment. Many of us take care of it. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing and have them come out to you and detail your vehicle. Get all that winter sludge off of there, that snow, that slush, that dirt, that salt, that mud, that gunk, all the stuff that's on the inside as well. They'll detail your vehicle inside, outside, around the rims, under the hood, under the seats, just like they do at the car dealer. And when they're done, your vehicle will look, smell, and feel like it off the lot. Remember how fun it was to get in that car and drive? You can have that feeling again without getting a new car by calling On the Spot Automotive Detailing, and they come to you when convenient, where convenient. That's how this works. The best in the city. That's what they were awarded in 2023 because they're reliable, they're efficient, they're the best when it comes to what they do. You can book online, buy online. Everything's right there at otsdetailing.com. Find them at otsdetailing.com. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck, and DC. Still time for you to get in. So Joe Lunardi's bracket came out this morning. That's ESPN. He's got the last four teams into the tournament: Texas, Wake Forest, Nevada, and New Mexico. Oh, I'm sorry, the last four buys. Last four teams in are Seton Hall, Virginia, Providence, and Gonzaga. And then you got a couple of Pac-12 teams sitting out in Colorado and Utah. Mississippi State, how about with Chris Jans? He's had a nice, last week. I've got them anywhere from 8 to a 9 seed. And I know a lot of Aggie fans are watching them. Lunardi's got him as an 8 seed right now, playing Nebraska. He's done a hell of a job down there. That's a good league, and they just keep getting better.
Yeah, they're comfortably on the right side of the ball right now.
You reach out to him. You might come back to him and see if we can get him. All right. What's going on in the world as we go through your day? Buccaneers cut two-time Pro Bowler. Colorado State got Shaquille Barrett to make some cap room. Ravens are working on some deals. Did you see the end of the Pistons Knicks game? Everybody's talking about this. The crew chief of that game admitted that they missed a foul. Knicks beat the Pistons. The Pistons have 8 wins. Missed foul 8.5 seconds. It was an obvious foul. Dante DiVincenzo just plowed through Asar Thompson. And Pistons with Monty Williams went to tirade. Season's worth by the Pistons. The absolute worst call this season. That's what he called it. Did you see it? Because he's not wrong.
Usually when there's that much contact, it's on one of these. What's happening? They're just like, okay.
And then there's this. Do you care what a dude named Taylor Gooch has to say?
I know you do.
Well, golfers. So Rory McIlroy is the one that he's holding out. DC, I know this is kind of in your wheelhouse too. For the career Grand Slam. Taylor Gooch is a live guy. He's frustrated that he'll not be able to follow up his tied for 34 at last year's Masters with a better performance this time around. He's ranked 40th in the data golf rankings. He's number 449 in the official golf rankings, world golf rankings, because there's no real path for live golfers to be able to earn ranking, the world golf rankings. So because he and some other live golfers are not playing, he says that, quote, if Rory McIlroy goes and completes the career Grand Slam without the best players in the world, there's just going to be an asterisk. It's just the reality. I think everybody wins whenever the majors figure out a way to get the best players in the world, end quote. Basically, if Rory wins the Masters or anybody wins the Masters, it's this year.
No one's going to look that way.
Well, he will. That's what he's lived.
Yeah, that's a bold statement. If you win the Master.
Don't you?
Yeah.
By the way, I saw John Rahm's invitation for the dinner. It was, yeah, for the dinner. So if Rory, Gooch has always been outspoken. A couple of years ago at the Liv Morton thing, he says not a whole hell of a lot different playing in a Ryder Cup, President's Cup, and put credit to the PGA Tour's structural control. The field will be walking on, I guess, a touch. But because Taylor Gooch isn't in the freaking Masters, with all due respect to Taylor Gooch, it's still a damn good field. And if you win the Masters, and if Rory wins it, he gets it.
No one's going to be like, no, Masters that were
Taylor Gooch.
Taylor Gooch wasn't. No.
If I the majority of our listeners 3 minutes ago, Taylor Gooch
Should have started with that.
I know. Baltimore Orioles relief pitcher, the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets, a pro golfer, for the offensive coordinator for the Illinois Fighting Illini. Would you have known? You would have, but would most? That's a good one too.
Does it make you think, oh, why is he throwing in a coordinator?
Right?
Might be the coordinator. Good.
It's kind of my favorite game, and I screwed the game up so bad. I really screwed up that game. It is one of my favorites.
I like that. You need to break that up.
Yeah, I failed. I absolutely. It's because I knew who Taylor Gooch. I have one for you. Jake Knapp. Actually, all right. Jake Knapp is, since we're on it, a pro golfer, a starting pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, an assistant coach at UCLA basketball.
It feels like an
Or a third-ranked tennis player at the pro tournament. Hold on this way.
I'm going with.
You know who Jake Knapp is?
Jake Knapp?
Yeah.
I think I'm with DC.
You going to
Yeah.
Jake Knapp won the PGA Open in Mexico.
Oh, he doubled up on us.
Yeah.
Threw a curveball.
Jake Knapp is the dude I told you about from Costa Mesa,
Oh, I did not.
who was playing in his ninth PGA tournament, and he won this $1.4 million. He was a bouncer. Dude's skinny, too. Like, you look at that bouncer, like, whatever. I guess that's the bars in Costa Mesa. You don't have to have a big, giant, burly bouncer. But he was, like, on all the tours. He kind of lost his card there, took some of the money that he made bouncing, played mini tours, got qualified, won $1.4 million in Mexico Open, which gives him a 2-year exemption on tours in the Masters, the Open, all the big tournaments. And he's got a nice. He's good at his cap. All right, finally, I won that game. Yeah, I just threw that game at you with an easy, obvious.
Sneaky. Very
You
sneaky.
guys both went coordinator for assistant coach. Anything else you got to know as you go through your day today? Combines. Do you watch the combines?
I don't turn it on and watch all day, but I'll go back. Usually, NFL Network does a really good job condensing it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with the combine. If you're like interested in the draft just to know the players' names, like who they're
Jake
looking
Knapp?
at, the rankings, it's good. But if there's any front office, any general manager that makes the decision based on a scouting combine, you haven't done your job. That's why so many coaches are not going.
Agreed.
You look at the tape. You don't have dudes running straight 40-yard burst on a football game. Can they go side to side? Because that's when you end up going. I think Zach Wilson can be pretty good. You see how far I threw a football?
All right, the Bears.
And it happened with Jamarcus Russell.
He's a great player.
Because he's
Deal
throwing
with
a
it.
bomb and is like, take this
Jamarcus
guy.
Russell's a great player. Deal with it. The Bears look. Everything's looking like they're going to trade Justin Fields. Their GM said today, "quote It just depends on what opportunities pop up." I'll say this: if we go down that road, I want to do right by Justin as well. No one wants to live in gray. I know that's uncomfortable. I don't want to be in that situation either. So we'll gather the information. We'll move as quickly as possible. Not going to be in a rush. See what presents itself. Thanks to Kenny Thomas for being with us today. We kicked it with Kenny today. He'll be back on Friday. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On is here at 4. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. Adrian, great work on the visuals. How about you driving the Cadillac back there with all your buttons working today? Kind of nice, huh?
I like the buttons.
Big day.
I love them when they work.
It's wonderful when they work. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.